Welcome to our 52 weeks of scrapbooking project recipes. We are, if you have the book, remember, so if you have the book, we are doing week number 19, which is Leave Nothing Behind. If you don't have the book, remember that you can go to my Scrapbook with Denise Facebook page, and the project recipe is Harvest Delight. It will say number 19. So either way, you'll be able to complete this with me. So let's get to my desk. And so I have not created this one before. I was going to do it with the Leave Nothing Behind because I thought this would be really good for scout pictures, but sometimes I don't have a lot of vertical photos. So I'm going to try it with doing a beach theme. Now, what you need for um, this project recipe is either two pieces of matching designer paper, or you can have two separate ones like they have in Harvest Delight. So just two pieces of designer paper that go together for the back. And I am using, I think this is from, I'll get the name of that because right now it's kind of slipped my mind. But I have these two light colored with the starfish. And then you need 3 sheets of cardstock. And you actually only need two half sheets, maybe a little bit more, and then a third sheet. So what I have is I have navy, and this aquacolor is from Old CM, and this was one that came out at Halloween, that leaf lime, I think. I'm not remembering them today. And I was trying to match the 3 colors that are in this umbrella. So let's gonna see if that works. Again, you need your 12-inch trimmer, you need your tape runners, and you need some kind of punch. Both of these have used the border maker, so I am going to use the starfish in my border maker. So let's get that ready first because it looks like we are going to be cutting borders first. So out of paper A, so if you're looking, um, paper A, let's see, is the green, and they're either going to be borders or mats. So paper A is going to be the green color, and let's just use this one. Everything in here is cut the same. Sorry, normally we do that just to double check. You guys are gonna be really happy because we have not even quarters, we have 7/8. So that should be fun. And they have here in the Harvest Delight these 2.5 by 4s. It says optional instead of using a mat. So that's kind of for the top here. So in Leave Nothing Behind, they cut a mat in half, whereas this one they've cut some paper. So that will leave up to you to see if you have mats in the collection that you're using. So paper number, maybe we can use both sides. Paper number 1, which is the green color on your project recipe. So there are the 2 longest borders and the 2 outside mats, right? Then comes to your coral color. That is the next biggest size of border and the 2 inside mats, as well as these 2 journaling up here. And then your last color are the 2 smallest ones, and then the inside mats. And the inside mats are going to be a little bit bigger than these ones on the outside. So take a minute and think about which way you would like to have your mats and your borders. So if you've got that thought about, I think I'm going to be doing, let's do it. If I look at my umbrella, we see it has green, dark blue, and then like the aqua, but I'm going to change it around because I want the biggest of my borders to be this aqua color since we're at the beach instead of being that green. I think I'm going to do it that way. And you know, if you're cutting your borders all the same size to start with and then cut them down to 9 inches and cut it in half, and you do that later, you can switch them up. So I'm going to do that. But let's start then, except that our mats are going to be, definitely whatever you want to be in the middle would be your last color. Okay, so let's get started. So I am going to cut designer paper number 1 with the aqua, designer paper number 2 with this leaf green, and then the 3, because it's going to be my inside one with the bigger mats, is going to be my navy. So let's cut our borders first. And we are going to cut 2 borders of your cardstock number 1. Okay, we're going to cut lots of borders here, so we're just cutting borders and mats. That's all there is, and then some embellishments. So that's border number 1. We'll cut border number 2. This does have some nice stars that it punches out, so you may want to keep those. Okay, so that's the second border. Let's leave them at 12 inches. And then our mats are going to be 3 7/8. Okay, so when we're looking at the trimmer, right, we know where the quarters are, which are these big lines. Sorry, that was a glare. Right, so we're going to go at counting the next biggest one, because it is cut into 16ths. So you're going to go 3 7/8, which is from the 4 to a small little tick and a bigger tick. It'll be halfway between that. So that is 3 7/8. And then we were going to rotate this and cut this in half at 6 inches. Let me get that out of the way so you can see. So these are 3 7/8 times by 6. Okay, so that's A and B. So again, next we are going to cut 2 borders, and this remaining is extra, so you can put that in your cardstock stash. And the next one I am going to cut is the green, because again, I want my biggest ones in the middle to be the navy color. So this will be, again, 3 7/8 mats. So let's cut 2 borders out of this one. That's 1. And let's get border number 2. And this color actually works good if this is going to be those journaling boxes. This is going to be a good color to be able to journal on. So when you're picking paper, think about that. And this is also a good way to use up some of your leftover cardstocks, as long as you have like a 6-inch piece minimum for these ones. You should have left. Okay, so I'm not going to cut those down to 9 inches yet. I will do that in a minute. We are going to cut this now at, again, 3 7/8. So a little tick and a big tick from the 4. And then we will rotate this and cut this at 6 inches. So those are our next 2 mats. And then this next piece, we are going to cut it at 2.5 inches. And again, if you have mats with your bundle, you don't need these, but I'm going to cut them, and then we'll take a look to see if I have mats that I could have used, but I'm going to cut them anyways. So 2 that are 2.5 by 4, and again, this is extra. And our last one, let's cut our border. And we only need 1. Now again, if you're going to think you might be switching up the colors, you could always cut 2. I'll cut 1 for now, and if I change my colors, I will come back and cut the second one if I need it. This paper's not lining up. Again, if your paper, your cardstock might be a little bit bigger than 12 inches, which this one is. That's why it's not quite fitting into the border maker. Bring it in and trim it down to 12 inches. Make sure that you have your foot up so that it is cutting at 12 and cutting straight. You can see it's a little bit, and check both directions. The cardstock can be up to 1/4 to 1/8 of an inch variant, so I always like to trim it off now before I start trying to put borders and everything on it. You know what? And while we're here, since we're gonna have lots of paper, and I got my trimmer out, let's cut these at 4 1/4. So we're gonna cut these at 4 1/4 by 6. We still are gonna need our trimmer to cut our border, so I'm just gonna put it to the side for now. And then we are going to punch our last border out of cardstock number 3. And see, now this fits better. It fits in properly. And we'll cut one more of these borders. Okay, there's our 3 cardstocks. So let's get out our 13-inch mats and our base papers. So I'll move this to the side. And I know that we need our trimmer, but I'm just going to take it off my desk for now so I can put my 2 13-inch mats and bring back my 2 base papers. I'll bring that up a bit for you. And we will have the project recipe. So this is really basic, pretty easy. So again, we take 2 of our mats, and these are going to be lined up. Let's just put them in the middle for now because we're going to start with our borders. And I'm just gonna, they're not lined up properly. I'm just gonna kind of put them down here. And then when you go across the page, you're gonna have that whatever color, you're gonna repeat that color. And then my designer paper 3 and then 2. You can see that this layout also is using a border strip from the stickers, but this one is not from the Leave Nothing Behind. So something else that you can think of if you want to. It kind of looks like the paper has a border, like where all the houses, how the houses are lined up, but it's not a border sticker. So I'm just going to put those down, and let's just put these to see that I like the color of them, and that this is the order. And then if I do like this color order, I will then cut them down. And actually, I think I do. I like that. I think I like the way that is going to be. And then these ones will come up here. These are going to touch. And we're going to get the measurements. As soon as I get these laid out, we'll talk about where they all get lined up. Okay, so let's start from the bottom up. These might be about where they're going to go, but again, we need to cut them. Here in the instructions, it does not say what to do other than I and J are just tucked underneath it. So it's not telling us exactly where to lay these out, but it looks like we can line these up at 3 inches, at the bottom of 3, the bottom of 2, the bottom of 1. These would go at 3 1/2. The mats are at 3 1/2, and that kind of looks like where it should go. So I'm going to bring back my trimmer. I'm going to cut K and L, which are my bottom borders, because I do like this order. I'm going to cut this at 6 inches. And then I'm going to line these 2 pieces up so they fit back together on my page. Now the 2 green ones are going to be lined up at 9 inches. We're going to cut these, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the inside edge so that my 2 stars will line up here also. Right, so let's get those lined up. We'll go this way. So I'm going to cut off 3 inches off of the right hand side of that one. And if I turn it over, it will match the left hand side, the design. So I'm going to cut 3 inches off of the left hand side of the left page. And then those will match, and then the other ones stay at 12 inches. So let's just attach these. I do have pictures. I didn't have this layout completed before, so I'm going to finish this one with you. So we're going to start from the bottom and work our way up. So let's get our repo. Make sure that that design is the same. Okay. Okay, so we will take this one and I'm going to line it up at the bottom of 1 inch. So my stars are at the bottom of 1 inch. And then the green for me, which would be cardstock 2, is going to be at the bottom of 2 inches. So you can see my little star there is at the bottom of 2 inches. Now you can get out your T ruler if you want to make sure that you're going correctly. You can also put a little bit of repo on your page to keep it attached to your mat. Just make sure that you wipe that off as soon as you're done. Otherwise it does just continue to stick there. So if you want to check to make sure that you're straight at these, or as straight as these can be. Looks like I'm going up a bit. There we go. And then my third one. And my stars are going different. If you see the stars with the star in the middle are going to the right here, they're going to the left here. If it made a difference to me, I would have them going to the right again. I would have them going that way. If it makes a difference, depending on your border punch, the one that you used. I don't think anybody's going to notice it, but I did. But that's going to be, and again, I should put some in this corner. Some repo. This one is going to be lined up at the bottom of the 9 here and the 3. This one you can get lined up right across. Okay, so those are my borders on my left-hand side. So I move this. Let's make sure I've got the right piece. And put some repo on my mat. And let's get this one going. Again, I'm going to line that up at the bottom of the 1 inch. And if you would like to use your T ruler to make sure, T rulers you can just get on Amazon. Creative Memories does not have those. Maybe yet, maybe they will. So if you want to check to make sure that you're kind of going straight. Looks like I'm a little bit going downwards. That's why we're using repo, so we can adjust where we need to. Can't believe we are already on week 19. We are going quickly through these. The year is going fast. If you're liking the project recipes we're doing together, I do also have a VIP group that you can join. We weekly have Zoom calls where we complete the current project recipes, as well as the project guidebooks and some blogs and cards. They are currently on my YouTube channel. They will become private and just for my customers in May. I was kind of giving everybody a chance to participate in watching all of those as I started my YouTube channel. So these I'm going to start at 3.5 inches, and they will go from 3.5 to 9.5. And they will fit butting up to each other, which is why the middle one's 4 1/4 and the other ones are 3 7/8, because they adds up to their 12 inches. And this does look black, but it is navy blue, and which will match that umbrella. And then this piece, you can see I never cut my green cardstock off. It's a little longer. I will cut that off after. So I am going to, I'm going to finish this because there's some things I'd like to to talk about, and we're going to look at the pictures because I do not have all vertical pictures. So again, this is 3.5 to 9.5. So I'm looking to see if I can actually put in a horizontal picture and how it will look, or if I need to go print another vertical picture. So we can kind of work on that together in 1 minute. And we'll also check, because this is from Sweet Summer from a couple years ago, we're also going to go check to see if there's a border sticker to use like is in this one, if there's something in there that I can use for the border sticker. Just make sure that's straight. Okay, so that's the layout, mainly just cardstock, right, with 2 designer papers. This one does look crooked. I'll get my T-ruler out and fix that. That's why I did it with repo. So let's look at the pictures I have, and I haven't cut them off yet because I didn't know which one I wanted, but that's the one that has the umbrella, so I might want that one in the middle. These ones need to be cut down. This is why I picked the teal, because of that. So I'm thinking that's probably a good order for the pictures. And then on the right hand side, I would have to fit that one over there. And then I was thinking of doing this with a peekaboo pocket, and that actually looks okay. I don't mind that. So let's look at the picture sizes. And let's cut those down, our photo sizes, sorry. And again, I'm not going to start with the 3.5. I want to see if I can go 3 3/4. So I'm going to go 3 3/4, and I'm using the photo trimmer. I want to keep most of this blanket, and it is 5 3/4, so we can't really go too much smaller than that. So we will go 5 3/4, and I will take it off of here. I could have gone 1/4 inch on each. So that would be the first one. This second one says 3 7/8. So it is only cutting off a small, but we cut this at 4 1/4. So I don't think I'm cutting it down to 3 7/8. I'm going to leave this one at 4 inches, and I'm just going to cut it down again to 5 3/4. And I don't want to cut off that umbrella because that's kind of where we got all the colors on this page from. Now you can see that this middle one has a little bit more of a border, so might have to cut this down. You're not going to like this too. 3 and we are at 3 1/4, 3 3/4. We are going to take off 1/8 of an inch only, just 1/8 of an inch. We don't want to cut our toes off, so we're going to cut off 1/8 of an inch. Okay, now we have the same border, so we're going to cut this one at 5 3/4, and we are going to cut this one. Trying to figure out which side I want to cut off. I can cut from both. So this was 3 1/2, 3 1/2. And a half is 4/8, so this is 5/8. 4 5/8. 3 5/8, sorry. Yes, so those are the same. So that's what we're going to have. And this one will be, I'm going to leave this one 4 by 6 because it's going to go over both of those mats, and I'm okay with that. And we will cut off this one, and I'm just going to go, don't want to cut off too much of the hand from this one side, and then this needs to be 5 3/4, and that will go on the teal one. So I could do one of two things. I could move this one over here and put the beach one there, and then I have a peekaboo pocket where I have 2 other photos that I'm going to put on that side, and I think it's fine like that. And you know, is it blending in too much? Maybe it would look better over here because the picture I think is standing out more there. Okay, so we have this for journaling as well as for embellishments. So let's just take a quick look if we have any mats that we could have used in here instead of using that green. So we would kind of be looking for one that we could cut in half. You know, so which one might go? So you can go through your mats. Maybe there was something that you could have used instead of cutting this. So take a look at the mats that came with the package that you're using, the bundle that you're using. And then the stickers. The only thing is because I like the designer paper, but I did not use the matching cardstock that it said in here, because it said deep sea green and island waters, whereas I kind of used some different colors. These borders might not match, but I did like this background paper. So, I mean, these would have been cool if I would have had teal and purple. I could have put the umbrellas there. So I'm going to think about if I want to put a border. You know, does this color actually match? Does it bring anything to the page? That would probably be the only one that I might use. So I'm going to think about that when I post my completed page on my Scrapbook with Denise Facebook group. You'll see what I decided to finish with for stickers, embellishments, or anything else for this page. So thanks for joining me for project recipe number 19. I'd love to see your completed page in my Scrapbook with Denise Facebook group, and happy scrapping. Thanks for joining me. Make sure you like and subscribe if you haven't. Refer your friends, and we'll see you all again soon. Thanks again. Bye-bye.